This story is set in the future, where humans are created in laboratories and everyone's data is registered in a central database. Those who are lab created are called valids, while those born naturally are called invalids. Invalid people are only given small, low-level jobs. We see Vincent, who bathes thoroughly and doesn't allow even a single hair to remain on his body. He burns all his hair and dead skin, anything that could fall off and leave a trace. After that, he ties a small bag of urine to his leg and puts a fake fingertip filled with a little blood on his finger. Then he goes to Gattaca Aerospace Corporation where he works. At the company entrance, everyone has to give a blood sample for verification. Vincent uses his fake fingertip to provide the blood sample and sits at his desk to work. He works for a while and then uses a special device to clean all DNA traces from his keyboard. Vincent's boss comes over, praises his work, and tells him that he's been selected for the next mission team. After his boss leaves, Vincent secretly sprinkles tiny pieces of skin, hair, and nails from a jar around his keyboard area. And he keeps a comb with hair inside his drawer. Later, he goes to submit a urine sample to prove he's fit for the mission, but he secretly uses the bagged urine instead of his own. Then he goes to watch a rocket launch. A coworker approaches him and tells him he's the only employee who watches every launch so passionately. Next, we see Vincent's past. His mother had become pregnant by accident, meaning Vincent was born naturally, not in a lab. After his birth, when doctors tested his blood, they told his parents that he was genetically weak and wouldn't live past the age of 30. From that day, his mother constantly worried about him. Later, his parents decided to have another child, this time through genetic engineering. That child was named Anton, a perfect designer baby without flaws. When their parents weren't home, the two brothers would play a game of swimming race out into the ocean to see who could go the farthest before turning back. Vincent always lost. As Vincent grew older, he became deeply interested in space and dreamed of becoming an astronaut. His parents told him that because of his weak genes, no company would ever hire him, but Vincent didn't listen. Whenever he applied for a job, he was rejected because of his DNA. One day, when their parents weren't home, Vincent and Anton played the swimming game again. But this time, Vincent won and even saved Anton from drowning. That was the last time they played the game because soon after, Vincent left home to chase his dream. He started working as a janitor at Gattaca, where he learned how the company checked everyone's DNA daily. One day, he stole a blood testing device from there. Later, he met a man on the black market who introduced him to Jerome, a genetically perfect ex-athlete with a very high IQ, perfect in every way except that he was paralyzed from the waist down due to an accident. Vincent was prepared to take on Jerome's identity. He made new contact lenses to match Jerome's eye color and regularly removed every tiny hair from his body to avoid detection. Gradually, he began to look exactly like Jerome, except for their height difference. To fix that, Vincent underwent a painful procedure to lengthen his legs to match Jerome's height. Meanwhile, Jerome collected his blood and urine samples, and Vincent practiced forging Jerome's signature. Vincent then joined the company under Jerome's identity and was accepted not through an interview, but based on Jerome's high IQ record. From then on, Vincent always used Jerome's DNA samples for daily tests. In the present, we see that the company administrator is murdered, and everyone watches in shock. Vincent, nervous, rubs his eyes, not realizing that one of his eyelashes falls onto the crime scene. The police start a massive investigation, scanning everything. During this, they find Vincent's eyelash and begin tracing him. The company director, Irene, is told to assist the police. That night, Vincent and Jerome go to a bar party where they both drink heavily. Meanwhile, Irene secretly takes one of Vincent's hairs and tests it, but it turns out to belong to the real Jerome. So she finds nothing suspicious. On the other hand, the police discover an eyelash that matches Vincent's DNA, which makes them realize that there is an invalid person working inside the company. That night, Vincent places a heart rate sensor on Jerome's chest and records his heartbeat while making him exercise. The next day, during his treadmill workout, Vincent plays that recorded heartbeat, so it appears as though it's his own. While he's exercising, the police arrive, discussing the search for the invalid. Hearing this, Vincent becomes extremely nervous. As soon as his recorded heartbeat ends, his real heartbeat starts racing. Panicking, Vincent quickly leaves and hides in his cabin. After work, Irene tells Vincent that she tested his DNA but didn't find anything unusual. She admits that she admires how perfect he is. It even makes her feel inferior. Irene herself was lab-born, yet she suffers from a heart condition, which means she can never go to space. She pulls out one of her own hairs and gives it to Vincent, saying he can check all her imperfections if he wants. Vincent takes the hair, blows it away, and says, "It's gone with the wind." Later, when the police send Vincent's picture to every computer screen in the company, Vincent becomes terrified. Luckily, no one recognizes him. When he tells Jerome that he's the prime suspect in the investigation, Jerome assures him that the police won't suspect him if he stays calm. So, Vincent continues his routine to avoid attention. Soon after, Irene arrives in her car to pick him up for a date. They go to watch a piano concert, and when the performance ends, the pianist removes his gloves, revealing that he has 6 fingers on his hands. Meanwhile, the police begin DNA testing across nearby areas, and even Jerome's blood samples are taken. The company's trash bags are also collected for examination. When Vincent and Irene return from their outing, they see that every car is being checked. When it's Vincent's turn, he removes his contact lenses and refuses a saliva test, saying he's been drinking. He provides his fake blood sample as usual, which passes the test. Then Irene stops the car and steps out, crossing the road. Vincent, without his lenses, can barely see anything, and he struggles to cross. Irene helps him and shows him the sunrise, a quiet and beautiful moment between them. A few days later, the detective finds matching DNA samples, one from the office cup and another from the hair. They conclude that someone has changed their identity and that the administrator may have discovered the truth, which led to his murder. The next day, the police come to the company again and start taking blood samples from everyone. When it's Vincent's turn, he pretends to miss the injection and secretly uses Jerome's blood, escaping suspicion once again. Later, Irene and Vincent go on another date, but the police suddenly arrive and begin DNA checks on everyone. Vincent grabs Irene's hand and runs. When a police officer tries to stop him, Vincent hits him and escapes. They hide in the dark, but then another officer shouts his real name. "Vincent!" Irene asks Vincent, "Who is this?" Instead of answering, Vincent kisses her. They spend the night together, and the next morning, when Vincent wakes up, he notices a strand of his hair on the pillow. He goes to the seashore to clean his skin and removes any traces of himself. When he returns, Irene notices a mark on his leg and asks about it. Vincent explains that he had an accident a long time ago. Meanwhile, the detective compares Jerome and Vincent's profiles and goes to the office to investigate. While checking the office, he discovers something unusual on the keyboard. When Irene learns about this, she discreetly signals Vincent, telling him he should go home because he looks unwell. When the detective asks Irene, she tells him that Vincent is sick, which is why he didn't come. Despite this, Jerome heads home. Vincent tells Jerome to behave like the real Jerome and stay prepared. Jerome quickly moves into his role, opens the gate on time, and sits like a normal person. Irene, who already knew the plan, signals Jerome to act convincingly. Even when the detective takes a sample from Jerome, he finds nothing. When the detective heads toward the lab, where Vincent is hiding, he receives a call that the mother has been found, so he leaves immediately. After the detective leaves, Vincent arrives, and Irene starts to leave upon seeing him. Vincent tries to explain that he didn't kill anyone. Meanwhile, inside the company, the administrator discovers the truth: the director had committed the murder because the administrator tried to cancel a mission. A few days later, Vincent returns to his desk and encounters the detective again, who is revealed to be Vincent's brother, Anton. Suspicious of his identity, Anton blames Vincent for orchestrating a conspiracy, which Vincent admits to, saying that Anton is jealous because Vincent is better than him. The two brothers challenge each other to a swimming race once more. This time, Anton believes he has swum far from the shore, but Vincent calls him a coward. Vincent reveals his winning secret: he had saved energy for the return trip. When Anton starts heading back to shore, he begins to drown, but Vincent catches him and brings him safely back. In the next scene, Vincent visits Irene and gives her a strand of his hair. She lets it slip from her hand, saying, "It flew away with the wind." They spend the night together because Vincent is going to space for a year. When he prepares for the mission, he notices that everything is covered in plastic. Jerome tells him that he has kept samples from 2 generations for Vincent. He also mentions that he is about to travel himself. Jerome hands him a letter, instructing Vincent to open it only once he is in space. Back at the company, when the doctor asks Vincent for a urine sample, he informs him that due to the new policy, he must provide a second sample. Vincent panics because he wasn't aware of this and did not bring the urine sample with him. He fears that he will be caught and that his dream of going to space will be shattered. Quickly, Vincent provides his own urine. The doctor tells him that he always knew Vincent was an invalid, but he had never revealed it because his own son was also invalid, and he felt Vincent deserved this opportunity more. The sample is scanned, and it initially shows Vincent's DNA, but the doctor switches it to Jerome's sample, ensuring Vincent remains. Meanwhile, Vincent's rocket launches into space. On the other side, Jerome puts on his medal and jumps into the fire. When Vincent opens the letter, he sees that it contains a bundle of Jerome's hair. This means Jerome was also invalid,